Southampton and weighs in at 11 stone, 5 pounds, 8 ounces. He enters the ring with 8 wins, 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout against a single defeat. Please welcome Tony Hill. This is scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds. Boxers, please.
Protect yourself at all times. When I say break, I want it straight away, okay? Shake hands, best of luck to both.
Two fighters who've got plenty in common. They both in good form, both coming in on the back of 3 impressive victories. And they're both southpaws as well, so that'll be interesting to see an all southpaw battle. And the winner will know that they're in line for a shot at the British middleweight title. It's planned for 10. Tony Hill from Southampton in the silver trunks against the Welshman Kerry Hope from Merthyr Tydfil in the black. And the way Hill has been performing lately, you might not want to go anywhere just now, because he's won his last 3 fights in a grand total of 5 rounds. 2 in the second round, 1 in the first.
Yeah, they're both decent punchers, probably a little bit better than their records suggest. They're both correct punchers, and you can see the way they both set themselves up solidly. And they are good left hand there from the southpaw stance from Hill. But you can see the way they're set themselves. They're looking for big punches straight away here. This is a massive fight for both of them.
Hill will be very encouraged by that early combination that got through there. We can see that he can get through the guard of Hope. And Hope's been a real seesaw story. On his first 11 fights, then lost a couple, went to America, and another one of those left hands catches Hope. Went to America, that didn't pan out, packed it in for about 16 months and decided to give it another go under Carl Ince, training out of Bolton. And he's won 3 since getting together with him, so his confidence has been rebuilt, but this is a big opportunity for him.
Well, his dream was dented by a couple of consecutive stoppage defeats, Hope. So at 30 you would expect he's the one who has to win here tonight. You would imagine Hill would get another chance down the line. So I would imagine Hope must be thinking this is a last chance saloon. And in the opening round, Hill looks a little bit more compact, a little bit more solid.
And he's been getting through with some left hands as well. I think it's something that I'm sure the Hope camp are going to be working on when the bell sounds, because he's been a little bit open to those left hands, the Welshman.
And Hill's the opposite. He lets a couple of punches go, and you can see how quickly his defences are back together again. So I think he knows, as I was saying, the records don't do justice to the power of these guys, but this is a good opening round. Some really good punches thrown from both men. Just as I say that, they both let go with a big wild swing. That's typical. Their timing hopefully better than mine.
Nice little left to the body there from Kerry Hope. Trying to follow up with a right downstairs as well. That wasn't so successful.
I think Hill the more impressive of the two. In the opener he's settled quickly, looking very sharp, concentrating, and he's getting the meat into the punch. He's set himself well. So really, I remember a long time ago they used to say 2 southpaws would make a poor fight. Well, no signs of that in the opening round of this one. Good defence again from Hill. That's been the difference here.
Yeah, really trying to unload with some left hands of his own there, Hope, but Hill caught most of that damage.
Catch him with the left hand, but listen, don't load up too much on the left hand, just nice, relax, okay? Get this with a nice rhythm now, yeah? Come on, mate, please. Alright, listen, if he brings his head down, just step back and throw the shots up. Okay, he's coming down low, you're leaning on it. Just step back and bring the shots up. But keep working the jab, yeah? Alright, we'll spit some out. Listen, alright? Nice, move your head up, move your hip.
Tony Hill landing the heavier shots and the better shots in that opening session.
Working off the jab. Listen.
Yeah, I thought in the opening round there was a kind of confident, competent look about his work. Tucked himself up nicely, didn't make any defensive mistakes, and pinned some really solid looking punches bang on target.
Round 2.
Round 2 of what is planned for 10 rounds. Hope has been the 10-round distance. Lost in America, but Hill Oh, he's been beyond 6 before. So will it be new territory from the man from the south coast? And a good body shot goes in from Hope. He landed a couple of decent body shots at the end of the first round, and he's obviously means business here as well, and a left hand gets through upstairs. The guard was high, but I think he got through it.
Yeah, but I think he's been sent out to change the tempo. The tempo suited Hill in the opener. So obviously Hope has been sent out to change things, and he certainly did that in the first few seconds.
Well, Hill's one of those boxers who loves to go forward, set the tempo, dictate the terms. And Hope is obviously trying to knock him off his balance a little bit.
Yeah, Hope trying to put a lot more snap into that leading right hand, southpaw or hook, whatever he decides to lead with. So much more aggressive in the second round here.
Yeah, and Hill not landing, not finding much at the moment, as they just get a little bit tangled up. Hope's 3 wins since he teamed up with Carlins were against trial horses, I think is the polite way of talking about them. But a win is a win in this business, and it helps build your confidence, especially when your confidence was shattered.
A lot more head movement now from Hope, getting punches out in twos as opposed to just the single stuff from the opener. So if there's improvement, it's coming from Hope at the moment. Good body shots too.
Yeah, he's got through with a few of those in this second round. It's certainly a better one for the Welshman. And there's another one.
And I don't think Hill has moved with the change in tempo. I think he's boxing at the same tempo as the opening round, when a change of tempo is definitely called for.
Starting to redden up around the body, Hill.
But I mean, if Hill sees a long, hard fight here, then he's maybe doing the right thing, just keeping tucked up. Losing a round is not the end of the world, especially when you've won the opener. So maybe he's thinking more about, conserving energy for a long, hard fight. But
Nice defensive work.
Yeah, but Hope's done some good work in this round.
Yeah, Hope definitely getting back on terms, you would think. The way he's boxed in this second round, it'll be up to Hill to try and make the changes and the adjustments that are needed at the start of round 3. But Hope does load up with his punches. That could be a factor if it goes a long way.
Yeah, you've shown all your big shots early on. You had him. Just take your time. You don't want to know, mate. Okay, deep breathing. Deep breathing. Deep breathing. Yeah.
Just a little bit too long.
Just keep working the job. Keep working this.
Just got to keep jabs the key time. The jabs the keys. Okay. Keep working the jab, and the other shots are coming from. Okay. Listen to me. Just don't tuck up too long and wait too long. I'll go with them sometimes. Okay. Go right way. Okay.
Well, not much doubt about the strategy for the man from Wales in that second round. Look at that, going downstairs with some success.
Yeah, well, certainly was a different fighter come out of Hope's corner in the second round. They put a lot of work, but I'm just wondering if Hill was quite happy to let him let off some steam, just tuck up as opposed to fighting against it. We'll see if that was the right thing to do as we go on.
Finally balanced after 2, this 10-rounder. An eliminator for the British middleweight title. Tony Hill from Southampton in the silver trunks. Kerry Hope, the Welshman, in the black. And it's Hope that's getting his punches away first at the moment.
Probably blocked, but he got them off. That was a good body shot from Hill.
Yeah, Hill needs that. He needs a little response here. You get the feeling he might need to quicken the tempo a little bit, because Hope just out hustling him a bit at the moment.
Yeah, blocking punches is okay as long as you're keeping pretty busy yourself, but if you're blocking punches and not coming back with enough, the round can be scored against you. But Hill giving himself a little bit of a shake now, I think.
Nice tight defence from Hill. wonder Hope is continuing to attack the body. He wants to try and open that defence up a little bit.
Hill looks to have the more accurate jab of the two. Hope trying to land with or lead with a southpaw right hook. Just catching the jab as he comes forward. Well, I will say, I mean, they both look championship material at this stage. When I looked at the match being made with the eliminator tag on it, I was thinking, is that the gum shield come out there?
The gum shield has come out there, yeah. Terry O'Connor hasn't spotted it.
Maybe one of the corners should bring it to his notice. He has noticed now. No, I was just saying, I wonder when this match was made, are they both quite ready to move on to championship level? But they both look quality performers at this. It really is an entertaining bout, this one.
Yes, it's an interesting clash of styles. It's not a cancel out, which, as you say, the people in the business always say a couple of southpaws and they groan. But no, this is a fascinating one. Hope getting the jab going. Hope's just outworking Hill right now. More variety to his work, more movement in his body. That's a bit better from Hill.
I think the defence of Hill, though, I mean, he's catching so much of the stuff, and his punches, you can see them getting through onto the target. There's the jab again. I think that's the difference between them in this round. Both throwing a lot of good punches, but better defence and a little bit more accuracy from Hill.
Yeah, he's definitely got the better defence, Hill. He snapped through a good half a dozen jabs that have got straight through in the last 30 seconds or so. Hope just took them all. And he's put a lot of work in here, Hope, as well, through these 3 rounds. Whereas Hill, you get the feeling he's boxing very much within himself at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's with the 10 rounds in his mind and producing some nice little quality busts. Last round you can pick who you like. I just lean towards Hill.
How you feeling? Yeah. Listen, Kerry, you're just going to be a bit more sharp. You're keeping your head stopping still. You've got to keep moving that head. Deep breathing. Come on, deep breathing. Your jab's working well, your body punching's working well.
Okay, just let me work right now. Break shots sometimes, it's working fine. It's working fine.
Right, okay.
Rub the jab up sometimes, okay?
Believe in your jab, relax, believe in your jab, relax. Come on.
Break shots up there. Come on, okay? Come on, it's fine, it's going to be yours. Alright?
Well, round two was the story of the body shots. Round 3 was a battle of the jabs. And that jab battle is being won by Tony Hill at the moment.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the reason for that is that Hope is leading with a southpaw right hook at times, falling short and being nailed by the jab, but really terrific jab and using it as a weapon too.
Round 4 and between rounds, Kerry Hope was being told in no uncertain terms by his trainer, Carl Ince, that he's got to move his head more. He is open to those jabs. There's not much head movement coming from the Welshman at the moment.
Hill has that kind of comfortable, confident look back about his work again, setting himself. A lot of movement in what Hope is doing.
Very technical fight. Getting through with the right hand there, Hill. Got in first.
Hill probably wants to up the work rate to match Hope if he wants to be sure here, because Hope is prepared to commit himself every second.
Got through. Hill's defence is catching a lot of these, but another one of those right hands comes round the houses and gets past the guard. A couple of good left hands got through there from Hill. Hope took them well.
And you see when Hill gets his punches off, the defences are back in place again. There you see that. So, paying full respect to the snap and Hope's punches, I think.
Eventually got through, but both these fellas doing a nice defensive job in there at the moment. That's a good right hand to the body as well from Hill. It's interesting to see that the Welshman is the fellow that's trying to push and lean on and just be the bully in there.
I think some of the time Hope maybe feels a little bit safer up close because he's been pinned on some long hooks and jabs, hurtful punches. Looking busy at the moment though, Hope.
Oh, he's keeping his work rate very high, and he's paid more attention to his defensive boxing as well in this last round. Hill hasn't been able to land those jabs at will the way he did in the previous round.
Another tough round to score. It's maybe a round where I liked what Hill was doing better, but not quite sure he did enough of it.
Well, that's the
Tight
thing.
round.
That's the thing, isn't it, Jim? The workload is coming from Hope. The quality punches you feel are coming from Hill. But as you say, is he landing enough of them? Much better round this for Kerry Hope after he got out-jabbed in the previous round, but he got caught with a left hand there and he'll have to watch that. Well, let's take a look at the stats from what we've seen so far. Both fellas throwing punches, Hope throwing a lot more, but Hill landing with more frequency. That's what our statisticians are reading at the moment. But if the three judges are looking at the work rate of Kerry Hope, they may well be leaning towards him. It's a fascinating battle of the southpaws, this one.
Yep, as you see, I have Hill 1 point up at the moment. I scored the last round level because although Hope did a lot of work, I liked the quality. I thought it was kind of balanced out with the quality in Hill's work. So I don't feel either deserve to lose that. I've scored at level, so I still have Hill 1 point up at the moment. And see, that's the quality that impresses you from Hill.
Left hand gets through from Hope. Hill lands a left hand of his own.
See, I just wonder in the second half of this one if the work that Hope has put into this, if he's got the condition to back that up and keep it going, or is he going to start flagging a little bit? He's put an awful lot of work into this.
Well, this is it, isn't it, Jim? He's been loading up really right from the opening round and has never really wobbled Hill. Hill's caught a lot of his work on the arms and gloves. Now that can tire you out in itself, but obviously you're negating the point scoring punches going in, and it's Hill that's, as you say, he looks like the guy that's primed to go the 10 rounds here.
Well, setting the pace is okay, but only if it's taking as much out of the other guys as it's taken out of yourself, and I don't know if that's going to be the case with Hope. Full credit. I mean, I don't see any point standing off and having a boxing match. I think he would be losing that, so he's doing the right things. I just wonder if he can do that for 10 rounds. This is a fair old pace. A lot of punches he's throwing.
Well, he certainly looks far from a washed-up fighter that he looked, well, about a year ago, you'd have to say. Kerry Hope. He's well in this one. Terrific opportunity for him, if he can take it.
Well, that was good work from Hope there, finding the target cleanly. So for the first time, Hill's defence is looking a little bit leaky there.
Got our main event to look forward to as well. Coming up, Scott Quigg and Jason Booth, the old and the new, the young pup, the old dog. The British Super Bantamweight title on the line. Quigg, the man with home advantage.
No, not the same leverage in Hill's punches here because he's been denied the room to get the leverage. So I think the pressure's paying off a little bit in this round for Hope.
Well, he's well in this if he can maintain this work rate. there is a chance that he can out-hustle Hill, because Hill, you just get the sense, needs to start going through the gears a little bit.
I think he has to try to take the initiative a little bit more.
Well, we talked about the main event. Scott Quigg getting ready for the biggest night of his boxing life. He's with Andy Scott.
Scott Quigg, the biggest fight of your career. Any nerves?
Just like usual. Nerves. Everyone gets nerves before a fight, but just nothing new.
Everyone's saying this could be the night that you come of age. Is that putting added pressure on yourself?
No, I've just got we've prepared well. Everything's gone well in training, so now it's just about doing what everyone thinks I can do, and I'm confident of doing that.
In terms of experience, he's vastly ahead. Do you think you've got what it takes to go in there and take that British title from him?
No doubt, yeah.
And have you been out into the arena, or have you been standing in the dressing room soaking up the atmosphere?
I went out, watched the first fight, had a look about and that, and just nice and relaxed, and come back in there now, get my mind on the job.
Good luck tonight.
Looks ready, doesn't he? Doesn't look like a young man that's overawed by the situation at all, and very respectful of Jason Booth as well. Scott Quigg knows he's got to produce the performance of his life tonight, and one of these fellas needs to produce the performance of their lives if they want a shot at the British middleweight title. Will it be Kerry Hope in the black from South Wales, or will it be Tony Hill from Southampton that grabs the opportunity? At the moment, the quality's coming from Hill, the volume is coming from Hope. 3 jabs, they all got through. They were light, but they scored for Hope.
And some nice head work beforehand too. I think Hill is the one who has to be changing things a little bit. Hope's finding a little bit of momentum in his performance.
You're always impressed with a boxer that can listen to his corner and change his tactics. He was told about his head movement, or lack of it, earlier on, and he's definitely adapted. And it is up to Hill, as you say, to just change the pattern at the moment, because Hope's the dominant force in there. He's the bully, he's got his man where he wants him. He's punching away, he's landing enough, he's certainly catching the eye of the judges, and even though punches are getting caught on the gloves like those previous 2, judges, like the rest of us, will see all these punches thrown, and at a subconscious level you start to think this fella's just outworking the other guy. And Hill at the moment, well, there, eventually something got through.
Well, Hill has looked at the classier at long range, but he's not been allowed to keep things at long range. Full credit to Hope, he's on his case and he's staying there, denying him the space. Good work again.
Yeah, a good combination from Hope. He's starting to grow in self-belief here. There's a better little uppercut from Hill, but just get the sense that Hill's power is on the wane a little bit. He was landing with more venom in the earlier rounds. That uppercut that he threw didn't seem to have an awful lot behind it.
Yeah, and Hope is actually holding back on the power now. These are just little scoring shots he's throwing. He's not winding up the big punches. He's just thinking about what rate now. This is a clever switch in tactics from Hope, and Hill has not moved with the pace of the fight here. He still has that casual, laid-back appearance to his boxing, and I don't think it's working.
Oh, that was better. A rare moment of success in this round for Hill, but Hope gets him back on the ropes and wails away, and a lot of it's crude and wasted.
Yeah, but he's shortened his punches, Hope. I mean, he's not swinging wildly, you know, he's up close. Little jolting punches, not winding them up, not using too much energy. So he is looking as happy in this one as I've seen him look tonight.
That was better from Hill, but Hope comes straight back at him again. And you just get the sense that Hill lands a combination and sits back and says, right, let's see what damage that does, and it doesn't do an awful lot. He's just outworking his man here at the moment.
You should have stood back there, mate, and picked him a bit more, yeah? Deep breathing, yeah? How are you feeling? Yeah? Deep breathing, you've got to breathe. Come on. Listen, get back to your jab. 2 and 1 to the body, 2 and 1 to the body. You've got to break that short rib, you've got to break it. You're not doing it, you're just tapping it. Break it, mate.
Nah, but I think there's been a clever change in tactics from Hope. He's got himself close, denied Hill the room to throw the classy shots, the long straight jab that he was using, and he's taken a lot of the power out of his shot. It's just little short jolt arm punches. Okay, glimpses of class now and again from Hill, powerful punches coming back from him, but nothing like enough of them. He's the one for me who has to change.
Tony Hill going into new territory.
Seconds out. Round 7.
Hope, of course, has been the 10 rounds before, albeit in a losing cause. But Hill he's been very one-paced tonight, hasn't he, Jimmy? You know, it's all very well looking comfortable and composed, but he's just not been through the gears at all.
I think Hill has to show that he really wants to win this. I mean, he would love to be knocking this fella out with one punch, but these things don't happen, and I just don't feel he's putting enough into it to turn things back in his favour. He's pot-shotting, you know, classy-looking pot shots, but not giving himself to the job. You know, not giving it 100%. Needs to give a little bit more of himself.
It's a little bit better, but look, he comes back with some body shots of his own, and now the two fellas really starting to unload. In Hope's corner, they were saying carry on working the body, but that's another good little left that came in there from Hill.
I mean, I think Hope's corner were a little bit worried. He was so out of breath at the end of the last round. I mean, I wonder if he's complaining. I didn't hear him complaining. But you can see again, not winding up the shot, it's just trying to pop them. So if there's no snap in the punches, then that would leave things open for Hill to start teeing off on him as he comes forward.
Well, it's just been non-stop action from the Welshman. You wouldn't be surprised if he was starting to feel this pace. He's starting to try and dig a bit with those body shots a little bit more now. And then Hill does exactly the same. He gets caught with the right hand upstairs. Hope caught him when he was open. And again, Hill just lands 2 or 3 good punches and then just goes back into his shell a little bit. Doesn't seem to want to maintain his initiative.
Well, I was thinking Hope was maybe pacing himself for the 10 rounder in the early stage, but now it's beginning to look that he needs to just to decide he really wants this and start going for it a little bit more.
Just a little bit more of a sense of urgency coming from Tony Hill, but then gets tied up again. And this is the kind of fight that Kerry Hope wants it to be. Caught with that uppercut again, the Welshman. But he doesn't seem to be bothered by it. And he's taken a lot of them.
Well, certainly a lot of rounds not that easy to score, but in every one of those rounds, Hope has done an awful lot of work in them. So it's easy to be swayed his way.
Terry O'Connor separates them. And Hope just bouncing away there. Still working and still hustling. Well, up in our studio, the big fella, Glenn McCrory, is watching this. Glenn, what are you seeing?
I think it's still very much poised at this point. Kerry Hope is getting into the fight. It was a very good start from Hill, who looked like he had the power, but he's a bit one-paced and he doesn't seem to be able to go through the gears. But it's just really whether Kerry Hope's going to run out a gas a little bit just down the stretch, and Hill's going to start to pick it up and make those big punches tell, because he's definitely the better puncher of the two, and he picks his punches the better. But so far, Kerry Hope maybe just slightly outworking him.
Can't disagree with that, Glenn, and just to emphasise what you're saying, Kerry is blowing very hard in his corner.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't matter how hard you're blowing it as you go back to the corner. It's after the minute's rest, if you have your breath back again, then you're in good shape. And I've no doubt he is in good shape. But I just think this is the story of the fight. He's just giving that little bit more of himself.
Well, Tony Hill needs to be on red alert now, because he's getting out-hustled here by the very hard-working Kerry Hope.
Yeah, well, as you see, I have Hope a couple of points up. Down to the work rate, I don't think Hill is doing enough. Classy work, clean, accurate punches, but I mean, we're seeing a lot of this from Hope, just sheer effort, endeavour and work rate.
Hope walked onto a little short left there and took it very well. He made his man miss. Back with a little bit more work of his own, and again the defence was up, but...
See, Hill can't do anything to keep him off him. you know, really you should be using the jab as he was earlier, using the long punches to keep this fellow at long range, but he just doesn't seem able to do it. Good head movement there from Hope. And again, and just little arm punches coming back from Hill.
What you've got to like about Hope is the way that he's made little adjustments as this fight's gone on. Hill has more or less stuck to a game plan, and nothing's really varied from him. He's not been in any trouble, but he hasn't varied his tempo, hasn't varied his workload.
He hasn't looked to take charge. I mean, really, he should be stopping the march forward of Hope, but he hasn't been able to do it. Looking busy again, Hope.
It's a bit like Tony Hill's only loss, which was a 4-round, admittedly, against Matt Haney, who just kept hustling away at him. And Kerry Hope has more or less done the same thing here. He's been prepared to throw a lot of punches, knowing that some are going to miss, some are going to get caught, but he's going to get through enough, and he'll hope that that's going to be good enough to catch the judge's eyes. Nice little counter from Hope as well. And again, no great power behind those jabs, but look at that. 5, 6, 7 punches coming in from Hope, no reply from Hill.
You know, sometimes in a fight like this where so many of the rounds are close, you get a gut feeling, who do you think deserves to be winning this? And I got to say, it's Hope. Look what he's putting into it, look what he's giving of himself. So okay, you can score for clean quality shots, you can score for work rate, but for me, the one who deserves to be in front at this juncture is a Kerry Hope.
Well, this will be quite a weekend for Kerry Hope if he can pull off this one. Turned a milestone birthday yesterday, 30. It says age is just a number, as everybody who turns 30 says. But he's a young 30 as well. He's not got an awful lot of wear on the tyres. He'll eventually getting through with a little left uppercut. But he's found the movement of Kerry Hope quite hard to negate.
You just let yourself down a bit there because you get that second win. What's your what now? Yeah. Come on, get that second win.
Well, we've got our main event coming up, of course. Scott Quigg, the young prospect, against the seasoned warrior, Jason Booth. There he is with his camp. Tony Harris just doing the glove work. They're looking very relaxed and confident, as you would expect. I mean, if ever there's a poster boy for the seen it, done it brigade, it's Jason Booth.
You know, I'll be sorry, you know, when Jason's career comes to an end, because we've all really enjoyed it. What an ambassador he's been.
Angles. Come on, son.
That one to come.
Jump on it.
They're getting a little bit antsy in that corner. Tony Hill has been sent out for round 9 with a flea in his ear. And starts off with a crisp right jab, but now he's got to maintain that tempo. There's been too much throwing a shot or throwing a combination and then sitting back and saying, that was nice. And it's just not outworking Hope enough. And everyone is waiting for Hill to mount a late charge here, and Hope just sees it all coming.
He should be taking the initiative. For me, he should have been doing that a couple of rounds ago.
Well, he's going to start letting the shots go here, Tony Hill. There's no question. These middle rounds have been good ones for Kerry Hope. Right hand gets through, but then a left uppercut in reply from Hill. But both these fellas have landed decent, solid shots. Neither man has wobbled yet. You just wonder if tiredness might become a factor. It shouldn't do with Hill. He hasn't really barely broken sweat at the moment, but Hope has packed so much work into the previous 8 rounds.
Little jolting shots there from Hill. But still, tactics are way wrong. He's the one who can produce the quality at long range, but he hasn't had this fight at long range from about the 3rd or 4th round.
Well, he looks a little bit tight and tense there as he threw that lead and got caught with a counter. Hill. Just wonder if he's starting to lose a bit of belief here, because He's throwing shots, but they're well short, as we just saw. And he's starting to think about this, and he's thinking some bad thoughts right now, Tony Hill, because this isn't working for him. Now that might just help turn things around a little bit. Can he maintain the pressure? Instead, it's Hope that comes straight back at him and makes him miss again.
Well, we have seen some good little jolting shots from Hill, but we still haven't seen the urgency you would expect at this stage in this kind of fight. I mean, does he honestly think what he's doing is impressing the judges? I don't know. This has been a little bit better from him in this round.
And this is exactly where Kerry Hope wants it to be. Pulled up against the ropes, keeping it close. Catching his man with a lovely right there, but he got caught himself, Hope, there. That was a decent little right hand that came in. But Hope did the smart thing and covered up.
Well, I think we're looking at yet another round that you pick what you fancy. Nice little punches there to finish the round. Saw some quality from Hill again in this round. Haven't seen that for a little while.
Well, certainly on work rate, this is a corner that needs to send up the distress flares.
That's all you've got to do, mate.
You're doing.
This is it.
Knock him out, mate.
Right? Listen, Tom, you've got to go out and do the same then. Keep throwing them shots, Tom. Yeah? You listening? Greg, listen to me, Tom.
Our battle. When we get close to the hill, yeah? Freeze fours, yeah? We venom. Yeah? Come on, son, you want this, son, don't you? It's your fight, but you've got to be busy this round, yeah?
Well, let's have a look at our statisticians and how they're viewing it. That Hope, who has thrown an abundance of punches, but has now slightly landed more than Hill. Hill had landed more in the earlier rounds.
I mean, I suppose a lot of Hope's work has landed on gloves and so forth in some of the earlier rounds, but as I said earlier on, when you talk about the gut feeling, who do you think deserves to be winning this? And I feel it's Hope until now.
I can't make a case for Tony Hill simply on work rate. Can Kerry Hope keep it going for another 3 minutes? It's a very bright start. Maybe he's the one that's going for the knockout. You heard Hill's team saying you've got to get in there and go for the knockout. Wayne Batten and his crew with the instructions, but it's Hope that's come out with the flyer. That was better from Hill, but you don't want to leave anything in the tank here in round 10. You've got to go hell for leather now. Whatever happens though, Kerry Hope has definitely rebuilt his career here. A career that they thought might have disappeared. He was contemplating retirement. Well, if he gets this decision, he moves close to a British title shot in what could be a wide open picture, who knows. But even if he doesn't get the decision, well, he proves he belongs at a high level.
I mean, we've seen a lot of rounds with Hill with a tight defence, blocking or partially blocking a lot of Hope's work. But for me, in a lot of those rounds, he wasn't coming back with enough of his own. Blocking punches is okay if you're mixing it up with a lot of good work. Okay, now he's beginning or trying to produce. I just think he's left it too late.
It's been the story for me of the second half of the fight. Hill throwing and missing. He wasn't throwing much in the early rounds, but he was landing. But Hope has been so much better with his movement in the second half of the fight that Hill's been more frustrated.
Well, Hill's finding a little bit of space now. Oh,
that got him! That got him, and surely that settles any questions. He did well to get up from that. That was a huge punch.
Hands up, hands up.
And with 1 minute and 15 left, is Kerry Hope the man that's going to get the knockout? Well, he doesn't want to leave himself open, going hell for leather here, the Welshman.
He's looking heavy-legged, Hill. I mean, at this stage, in such a tough battle, when you're feeling tired already, those punches take everything away from you. He's back on his heels here. If there's one thing Hill did not need in this one, it was a knockdown scored against him.
And still being outworked and out-hustled. That was a huge swinging hope for the best shot from Kerry Hope, but it landed.
No snap at all, no strength in Hill's punches. I don't think he's recovered from that. I think a little bit of exhaustion and a little bit the effect of the punch. Look, really looking pedestrian at the moment, trying to summon something up.
Well,
sorry Nick, but the knockdown just puts it beyond dispute on my card for Kerry Hope. I really look forward to see how the judges saw this one.
Well, you just echoed exactly what I was going to say. If there was any doubt, surely that's erased it. He's just outworked his man. From the third round onward, he's just upped the tempo. Hill's never gone with him. And that's a terrific performance from Kerry Hope. You just wonder if he's going to get the verdicts, because you never know with the judges. But surely the knockdown will have settled it. You just got the sense that Tony Hill never got going in that one.
Yeah, I mean, there were times that he looked capable of doing the job, but just hadn't put his mind to it 100%. And just as he started to find himself a little bit of room, Hope was the one who exploited that room. Just looking to get some solid punches off. Maybe he felt himself he needed the knockout, but beaten to the punch, I think, sums it up perfectly. Setting himself for the big punch, and he was the one who shipped the big punch. And I just think, going out looking for a huge last round, I think that just took everything away from him. I don't think he really recovered from that with the exhaustion, you know, the impact of the punch. But what a perfect time for Kerry Hope to find the big shot.
Well, there's the stats. Hope has outworked his man. Look at the punches thrown. 718 punches in a 10-round fight. And if Tony Hill goes out of here the loser, he'll have to look at his work rate. Jim, your final scorecard, how did you see this?
Yeah, well, you can see there that the knockdown obviously widened things. I had it pretty tight right up to the last round, although I had Hill was the one who needed a knockdown on my card to salvage the night's work. So the knockdown against him widened the scoring, but I really feel, said it twice already, I'll say it again, my gut feeling is Kerry Hope deserves to win here.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to your judges' scorecard, where we have a majority decision. Richie Davis scores it 96 points to 94 in favour of Hope. Steve Gray, Ian John Lewis scores it 95 points in favour of a draw. And your final judge scores it 98 points to 93 in favour of your winner. From Merthyr Tydfil.
And that's the right result.
Kerry Hope.
And Steve Gray is spot on with his card. We always seem to have controversy these days, it seems. Every week we get one of those eyebrow-raising cards, but justice has been done here.
Well, we'll be hearing from Kerry Hope in just a couple of minutes' time. In the meantime, is the night set for this man. Scott Quigg, perfect record, 15 KOs in 22 fights, but he's never faced anyone of Jason Booth's level. There he is, focused and ready, the British champion. Frank Maloney told us earlier on, it is win or it's time to quit for Jason Booth. Knocked out by European champion Kiko Martinez in his last fight. He's never suffered consecutive defeats. Can he pull off a big win tonight? Big win for this man, Kerry Hope, talking to Adam Smith.
Absolutely, Dave. It is indeed a big win for Kerry Hope. Great weekend for you. Turn 30. Doesn't get much better, does it?
Well, I wouldn't have mentioned it until you just did. So, yeah,